ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Okay, good morning. So we are in the alternating current chapter. Yesterday we discussed about alternating current. What happens to the alternating voltage supplied to the pure resistor. Now today we can discuss about what happens when the alternating voltage connected to the pure inductor and a pure capacitor. What happens? Now we can discuss about these topics. So first, alternating potential voltage, potential or voltage, whatever it is, supplied to pure inductor alternating potential supplied to the pure inductor. So what happens here it is. Now, so for example, this is the circuit, this is the inductor, inducting coil, and this is the alternating potential. So inductor L and this is the alternating potential. Alternating potential is E is equals to E naught sin omega t. E is equals to E naught sin omega t. E is equals to E naught sin omega t. So this is the alternating potential supplied. So that means potential continuously varies with the time. So it varies with the time and it repeats at regular intervals of time. That means due to this, alternating current passes through the inductor. Alternating current passes through the inductor, and that alternating current also continuously varies with the time and it repeats at regular intervals of time, no doubt about that. So due to the variation of the current, certain amount of magnetic field developed in the solenoid. So just like it is the self inductance of the solenoid, just like that. Due to the variation of the current, definitely certain amount of magnetic field developed. Due to that magnetic field, what happens? Due to that magnetic field, what happens? Flux generated. So if that flux varies with the time, an EMF is induced in the inductor. An EMF is induced in the inductor. That EMF does not allow the current to pass through the inductor. That EMF does not allow the current to pass through the inductor. So that means opposition for the flow of current through the inductor. So that is called, what is that? That process is called self-induction. We already discussed in electromagnetic induction chapter. So that means what is the EMF developed here? So what is the direction? This is the direction of current and this is the direction of induced EMF. Induced EMF does not allow the current to pass through it. So here let L be the inductance. L be the inductance of the inductor and let I be the current flowing through the inductor. Current flowing through the inductor, and small e is the induced EMF. Induced EMF in the inductor. Induced EMF in the inductor. So now in this situation, so in any closed loop, according to Kirchhoff's second law, in the closed loop, net potential of the system must be equal to 0. from Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's second law. From Kirchhoff's second law, the total EMF or potential, EMF in closed loop is equals to 0. So from this we can write it as E plus E is equals to 0. Just I am considering this situation, E plus E is equals to 0. What is capital E here? Where capital E is the alternating potential supplied. So where E is equals to E naught sin omega t, let us see equation 1. So here E plus E is according to Kirchhoff's second law, what the total potential in the closed loop must be equal to 0. So that's why E is equals to minus E. But according to the definition of self-inductance, the induced EMF can be written as minus L into di by dt. E is equals to minus L into di by dt. So therefore E is equals to L into di by dt. E by L into dt is equals to di. E by L into dt is equals to di. So from this integrating on both sides, integral of di is equals to integral of E by L dt. So integral of di is equals to 1 by L into, what is the E value here? E value is equals to E naught sin omega t. E naught sin omega t dt. Integral of di is equals to integral of 1 by L into integral of E naught sin omega t dt. Integral of di is I, 1 by L into, so that is E naught by L. Integral of sin omega t minus cos omega t divided by omega. Integral of sin omega t can be written as minus cos omega t divided by omega. So from this we can write I is equals to E naught by L omega into minus cos omega t. So this can be written as E naught by L omega minus sin of pi by 2 minus omega t we can write. Cos omega t can be written as sin of pi by 2 minus omega t. Then multiply with minus E naught by L omega sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So sin of pi by 2 plus theta or sin of pi by 2 minus theta is cos theta, or cos of pi by 2 minus theta is sin theta. So here cos theta can be written as sin of pi by 2 minus omega t. So multiply with minus, we can get sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. Cos of minus theta is cos theta. Just trigonometry formulas. So that is sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Sin of omega t minus pi by 2 it is. So equation, let us say, so this can be written as I is equals to, this can be written as I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So equation 2 here. So here where I naught is equals to E naught by L omega, where I naught is equals to E naught by L omega. So this is when we compare first equation and second equation. So what is the first equation here? E is equals to E naught sin omega t. What is the second equation? I is equals to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. E is equals to E naught sin omega t. I is equals to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So these are the two equations. I equals to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So this is the situation. But what is the phase difference between these two equations? This is only sin omega t, but it is sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Minus pi by 2. That means current is lagging an angle pi by 2. Current is lagging an angle pi by 2. So see here, this is E is equals to E naught sin omega t. E is equals to E naught sin omega t. This is I is equals to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So this is the situation. But when we compare this equation 1 and 2, if we compare equation 1 and 2, so here what we can write, that EMF leads by an angle pi by 2 than current. EMF leads by an angle pi by 2 than current, or current lags an angle pi by 2 than EMF. So we can write two conditions: EMF leads by an angle pi by 2 or current lags by an angle pi by 2. So that means EMF is ahead of current through an angle pi by 2, or current lags behind EMF an angle pi by 2. Both are correct. So these are the two conditions here. That means finally what we can say, that here the phase difference between the EMF and current, EMF and current when the pure inductor is connected is how much it is? Pi by 2. That is the pi by 2. So this is the condition now. So this, when the alternating potential is supplied to the pure inductor, what happens? We got E, generally this is the supplied potential, alternating potential. What is the current we got? I is equals to I naught sin of omega t minus pi by 2. So this is only omega t, but it is omega t minus pi by 2. So that means current lags by an angle pi by 2, or EMF leads by an angle pi by 2. So anyone is correct here. Anyone is correct in these two. EMF, we can say EMF leads, or we can say current lags. Both are correct. Now, so based on this, so from this what we can say, that the phase difference between EMF and current is, so finally here the important point here, the phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2 or 90 degrees. When the pure inductor is connected in the circuit, if the pure inductor is connected in the circuit, what is the phase difference between the EMF and current? 90 degrees. Which one leads? EMF leads. Which one lags? Current lags. Anything we can say that. Both are correct. This one is correct and this one is also correct. Then how can you draw the phasor diagram here? Phasor diagram. So for let us say, phasor diagram means represent the EMF and current. Let us say current is represented along x-axis and EMF is represented along y-axis, because the phase difference between these two is pi by 2. Because EMF leads, for example, both are starting from x-axis, so but EMF leads by an angle pi by 2. Actually, in case of resistance connected to the, if the resistor connected to the alternating potential, both are in the same direction. EMF and current both are in the same direction, because the phase difference is 0. But here the phase difference is pi by 2. That's why EMF is mentioned like that. Why EMF is mentioned here? Why don't the current is mentioned here? Why we have to mention EMF here? Why don't the current? Because EMF leads by an angle pi by 2. EMF leads by an angle pi by 2. That's why we have to mention this at this position. Now, so this is not EMF here, this is only current, or this can also be represented like this. If EMF is mentioned like this and the current must be mentioned here, because the current lags by an angle. Current lags by an angle. Both are correct here in these two. This is EMF leads, we can say that. Here current lags by an angle pi by 2. Both the diagrams are correct, phasor diagrams. If the current is taken along x-axis, positive x-axis, EMF must be in the positive axis. If the EMF is taken along positive x-axis and current must be in negative y-axis. So then only this condition is satisfied. EMF leads by an angle pi by 2, current lags by an angle pi by 2. So that is the situation. Now here, see here, where I naught is equals to E by L omega. So that is the situation. From that, I is equals to I naught sin omega t. Here I naught is equals to E naught by L omega. I naught is equals to E naught by L omega. Here what is I naught by L omega here? Here it is. Actually, what is this L omega here? L omega is actually current formula is, what is the current? According to Ohm's law, current can be written as potential by resistance. V equals to IR or I is equals to V by R. But here I is equals to E naught by L omega. So that means L omega is the opposition offered for the flow of alternating current, when pure inductor is connected. When pure inductor is connected. So this is the situation. So I naught is equals to E naught by L omega. What is L omega here? L omega is the opposition offered for the flow of the alternating current. Opposition offered for the flow of alternating current when the pure inductor is connected. So that's why here L omega is called inductive reactance. Inductive reactance. So XL, that is equals to L omega. Inductive reactance, that is called XL, is equals to L omega. This is connected, and this opposition is called what? Inductive reactance, that is denoted with X suffix L. So XL is equals to L omega. What is inductive reactance? How can you define inductive reactance? The opposition offered for the flow of alternating current when the pure inductor is connected in the circuit. When the pure inductor is connected in the circuit, that is called inductive reactance. XL is equals to L omega. Very good. Now here XL can be written as omega L into omega can be written as 2 pi f, where f is alternating frequency. Alternating frequency. So because E is what we got, E is equals to E naught sin omega t. What is omega? Omega can be written as 2 pi f or 2 pi by t. T in the sense time period. What is time period? Time taken to complete one oscillation or time taken to complete one pulse. If you consider the sine wave, one crest, one trough like this. So that means the time taken to travel from this position to this position is called time period. The reciprocal of time period is nothing but frequency, where f is the alternating frequency. Where f is alternating frequency. How this alternating frequency varies with inductive reactance? See here, if we draw the graph between XL and L, XL is directly proportional to L. So that means if the inductance, so in the diagram, the inductance increases, inductive reactance also increases. If the inductance increases, inductive reactance also increases. If inductance increases, then inductive reactance also increases. Inductive reactance also increases. Next, in terms of frequency, so let us say it is XL and it is frequency. So XL is directly proportional to F. XL is directly proportional to F. So that means if the alternating frequency increases, alternating frequency, that means the signal like this is the alternating potential. But if the alternating frequency increases, the inductive reactance also increases. Both are directly proportional. If the alternating frequency increases, if alternating frequency increases, then inductive reactance also increases. Inductive reactance also increases. So that is, what is XL here? Inductive reactance. What is meant by inductive reactance? Opposition offered for the flow of alternating current when pure inductor is connected. So this is the situation, and this is the graph connected this. And when the pure inductor is connected, what is the condition? The phase difference between the EMF and current is 90 degrees. The phase difference between the EMF and current is 90 degrees. So remember that. So that means what is the power factor, power consumed in the circuit, or power factor? What happens to the power factor and power consumed? So power factor, what is power factor? We know power factor is equals to cos phi. So what is the phi? Is the phase difference. What is phi here? Phi is the phase difference. So but the phase difference here is pi by 2. The phase difference between the EMF and current in this situation is pi by 2. So therefore power factor is equals to, then power factor is equals to cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0. Cos 90 is 0. That's why power factor is equals to 0 here. So that means what is the power consumed? Power consumed. That is, what is the power formula? ERMS, IRMS, cos phi. So cos phi 0. So that's why power consumed in the circuit is also equal to 0. Power consumed in the circuit also equal to 0. So this is the situation. This is a power factor, and this is the phase difference, and this, everything like this. So this is the concepts when the pure inductor is connected to the circuit. The main thing you have to remember in this, what are the key points in this one is main phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2. Next, so power consumed is equal to 0. Next, inductive reactance. Inductive reactance is XL is equals to L omega. Inductive reactance is equals to XL is equals to L omega. So these are the points you have to remember mainly in this. And phasor diagrams, you know how to write that. Maybe EMF leads by an angle pi by 2. So this phase difference, that means EMF leads current by an angle pi by 2. EMF leads current by an angle pi by 2. So that means that is the situation. In a if di by dt is equals to 0, so that is I is constant. For example, in this situation, what is the EMF induced? We already discussed, E is equals to minus L into di by dt. If the alternating current passes through the inductor, if alternating current passes through the inductor, what is the EMF induced? Minus L into di by dt. We know this. So that, for example, if di by dt is equals to 0, that means if I is constant, that is called DC current, that is direct current, DC, or that is also called as direct current. For this direct current, inductor does not oppose direct current. So because if the direct current passes through this, di by dt is equals to 0, then induced EMF is equals to 0. If there is no induced EMF, there is no opposition. So that's why inductor does not opposes the direct current, but inductor opposes the alternating current. So inductor opposes the alternating current. Inductor opposes the alternating current. So that is the situation. These are the points you have to remember according to this. Next, alternating potentials applied to the pure capacitor. Alternating potentials applied to the pure capacitor, if only capacitor is connected. This one like this. C is the capacitance and E is equals to E naught sin omega t. Here let Q be the charge stored in the capacitor. Q be the charge stored in the capacitor. So what is the potential difference across the capacitor? All of you know that potential difference across capacitor is equals to Q by C, charge by capacitance. Charge by capacitance, that is the potential difference across the capacitor. Again, according to Kirchhoff's second law, so we can write E minus Q by C is equals to 0. So then E is equals to Q by C. E is equals to Q by C, where E is equals to E naught sin omega t. Let us equation 1, where E is equals to E naught sin omega t. The potential difference across the capacitor is E minus QC is equals to 0. So that means net potential in the closed loop is 0. So that's why E minus Q by C equals to 0. Then we can write E equals to Q by C. So but here E naught sin omega t is equals to Q by C. Then Q can be written as E naught C sin omega t. E naught C sin omega t. So but current can be written as I is equals to dq by dt. Rate of flow of charge is called current. Rate of flow of charge is called current. I is equals to dq by dt. I is equals to dq by dt. Next. So from this we got I is equals to E naught sin omega t equals to Q is equals to E naught C sin omega t. So therefore I is equals to d by dt of E naught C sin omega t. So that is E naught C into d by dt of sin omega t. So I is equals to E naught C d by dt of sin omega t cos omega t into omega. So I is equals to E naught C omega cos omega t. E naught C omega cos omega t. But this I is equals to E naught by, let us say it is 1 by C omega into cos omega t can be written as omega t plus pi by 2. So, from this we can write I is equals to I naught sin of omega t plus pi by 2, equation 2, where I naught is equals to E naught by 1 by C omega. So, this is the equation, second equation. Based on this, E minus Q by C equals to 0, E is equals to Q by C, E is equals to Q by C, E naught sin omega t equals to Q by C, Q is equals to E naught C sin omega t, Q is equals to E naught C sin omega t. But we know current is equals to rate of flow of charge. So, d by dt of E naught C sin omega t. Next, E naught C, differentiation of sin omega t can be written as cos omega t into omega. So, but here why we are writing it is 1 by C omega? While calculating the current can be written as potential by resistance. So, this C omega must be in the denominator. So, that is why it is, we can write it as 1 by C omega. Cos omega t can be written as sin of omega t plus pi by 2. So, based on this, I naught is equals to E naught by C omega. So, if we compare equations 1 and 2, what we can write from 1 and 2, from equations 1 and 2, what we can write? From equations 1 and 2, what we can write? So, this is sin omega t, but it is sin of omega t plus pi by 2. Potential is only sin omega t, but current is sin of omega t plus pi by 2. So, that means current leads by an angle, current leads EMF by an angle pi by 2, or EMF lags by an angle pi by 2 than current. Anything is right. Both are correct. Current leads or EMF lags. Current leads or EMF lags. So, that means when the pure capacitor is connected to the circuit, then the current leads by an angle pi by 2. That means EMF lags by an angle pi by 2. So, for pure capacitor, the phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2. The phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2. So, this is the situation. 1, we are comparing equations 1 and 2. In case of equation 1, it is only sin omega t, but here it is sin of omega t plus pi by 2. Sin of omega t plus pi by 2. So, that means definitely current leads by an angle pi by 2, or EMF lags by an angle pi by 2. Now, how can you draw the phasor diagrams here? Phasor diagrams. So, for example, we can draw in two ways. So, let us say this is considered as current and this is considered as EMF, because current angle between these two is pi by 2. Angle between these two is pi. If this is considered as I and this is considered as E, okay, or in another way also we can draw. So, this is current and this is EMF. This is also pi by 2. So, this is the phasor diagram in this situation. So, in case of pure capacitor, if only pure capacitor is connected to the circuit, the phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2, and these are the phasor diagrams. If EMF is considered as x-axis, current must be in the positive axis because it leads by an angle pi by 2. If the current is considered as positive x-axis, EMF must be in the negative axis because current leads by an angle pi by 2. So next, and we know what is I naught is equals to E naught by 1 by C omega. I naught is equals to E naught by 1 by C omega. Actually, here 1 by C omega is the opposition offered for the flow of I naught is equals to E naught by 1 by C omega. I naught is equals to E naught by 1 by C omega. So here 1 by C omega is the opposition offered for the flow of alternating currents in pure capacitor. 1 by C omega is the opposition offered because current can be written as potential by resistance. Current can be written as potential by resistance. That's why 1 by C omega is the opposition offered for the flow of alternating current in the pure capacitor. So that's why here, so this 1 by C omega is called, what is that? Capacitive reactance. 1 by C omega is called capacitive reactance. 1 by C omega is called as the capacitive reactance. Next. So this is denoted with XC. XC is equals to 1 by C omega. This is capacitive reactance, and the previous case it is inductive reactance. Inductive reactance means XL, that is equals to L omega, but it is XC 1 by C omega. So from this XC is equals to C into omega can be written as 2 pi f. Omega can be written as 2 pi f. Now if we draw the graph between capacitive reactance and capacitance, see here, if we draw the graph between XC and C, it's not L, XC and C, the shape of the graph is like this because inversely proportional. That means if C increases, if capacitance increases, then XC decreases. If the capacitance of the capacitor increases, then XC decreases. Or if we draw the graph between XC and frequency, alternating frequency, it is also inversely proportional. See here, XC inversely proportional to F and XC inversely proportional to C. Here, if alternating frequency increases, capacitive reactance decreases. If F value increases, XC value decreases, or if F value decreases, XC value increases. If C value increases, XC decreases, like that. So this is the representation of the graph capacitive reactance, and how the capacitive reactance varies with capacitance. Capacitive reactance varies with the alternating frequency. Next, here next, what is the power consumed here? So phi, here phi is equals to pi by 2. Then what is the power factor? Is equals to cos phi. So that is cos pi by 2. So that is equals to 0. So in case of pure capacitor, if the pure capacitor is connected to the circuit, what is the power factor? the power factor must be equal to 0. The power factor must be equal to 0. If the power factor is equal to 0, then what is the power consumed? Power consumed also 0. Power consumed P is equals to E RMS I RMS cos phi. Cos phi 0. So that's why power consumed equals to 0. So that means if the pure inductor or pure capacitor are connected to the circuit, pure inductor or pure capacitor are connected in the circuit, the power consumed must be equal to 0. So that means there is no power consumed. If only resistor is connected, power consumed must be maximum. So that is the situation here. And one more thing here, the main important thing is capacitance capacitor does not allow the DC, does not allows the direct current through it, does not allow the direct current. So next here, capacitor does not allows the direct current through it. So that means if the capacitor is connected to the DC, then capacitor does not work in case of DC. So it works in case of only AC. So that means that's why this is called circuit elements, alternating circuit elements this is. So that means here capacitor works for AC only. So AC in the sense alternating current. So next, what are the main points you have to remember according to this pure capacitor circuit? So phase difference between EMF and current is pi by 2. So that means here current leads by an angle pi by 2 then EMF. Current leads by an angle pi by 2 then EMF. So here power consumed is equals to, in this situation also power consumed equals to 0. So power consumed must be equal to 0. Okay, no problem. So next, inductive capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance XC is equals to 1 by C omega. So opposition offered for the flow of alternating current, XC is equals to 1 by C omega. So for example, so let us say phasor diagram. In case of pure resistance, pure resistor, pure capacitor, pure inductor, I am considering current along x axis. Current along x axis. If the pure resistor is connected, then it is ER. If pure resistor is connected, then it is ER. If the pure inductor is connected, EL, that means potential in the inductor. If the pure capacitor is connected, EC. Like this we have to mention. Remember, that's very, very important. Because for the pure resistor circuit, the phase difference between the current and the resistance, current and potential must be 0. The phase difference between the current and potential must be 0 in pure resistive circuit. That's why both must be mentioned in the same direction. In case of pure inductor circuit, the phase difference between current and EMF is 90. Current and EMF is 90. So that's why here EL must be represented like that. And in case of pure capacitive circuit, the phase difference between current and capacitor is, current and EMF is 90. So that means here EMF leads, here current leads. So if these three mentioned at the same time, three must be mentioned at the same time, this is the representation. If the inductor, capacitor in the same way, resistor are connected, how can you represent the phasor diagrams? This one. This is EL and this is EC and this is ER. And current must be along the x-axis. So because for pure resistor, the phase difference 0. For pure inductor, the phase difference between current and EMF is pi by 2 and EMF leads. And in case of pure capacitor, the phase difference between current and capacitor, current and potential is 90. That means current leads. So remember, this is the representation. So this is about pure inductor and pure capacitor circuit.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.